Once upon a time, there was a thread on Team Liquid, and the thread analyzed all the possible Zerg openings there are and tried to find out which one is the most economical. And they found out that 11 pool 18 hatch is economically inferior to a standard 14 gas 14 pool opening. And as a result, Zergs all over the world have been using the 14 gas 14 pool opening for a very long time now, and it's a very good build. And it is true that the 14 gas 14 pool opening is more economical than the 11 pool 18 hatch opening. However, StarCraft is not a game just purely about your own economy, but is also about your opponent's economy. And the purpose of this video is to show you how the 11 pool 18 hatch opening can be a viable way of getting yourself an economic advantage into the game. So here we have Dark Force against Grubby in a ZVP matchup, and in this game Dark Force here is going to be doing the 14 gas 14 pool. I'm going to speed this up because this is a very standard build that I'm sure many of you are familiar with. 14 gas 14 pool, 15 Overlord, Queen, all that stuff, you know the rest. But the point here is to give us a baseline for comparison when I show you the next replay. So I'm going to speed this up now to ×8. Go, go, go. And I'm going to pause at the 6-minute mark. Almost there, and 6 minutes. Now, let's go to the income tab, and we see that Dark Force has 26 workers. By going to her production, we see that he has 3 drones almost ready to be hatched. So we're going to add that to our harvester count, saying that he has 29 harvesters. 29 harvesters. He has 1 queen, 2 queens, and he has 4 Zerglings scattered around the map. And looking at our Protoss opponent at the 6-minute mark, he throws down his Nexus at the 6-minute mark, and at the 6-minute mark he has 1, 2, 3 sentries and 1 Zealots. Okay, so this is the baseline for comparison. I will now load up the next replay, so stay tuned, hold on. Alright, here is our second replay on Neo Enigma. We have our Zerg player in Imbaloli at the top right position, and here on the top left position we have Mouse Mana, our Protoss player. And in this game our Zerg player is going to do our 11 pool 18 hatch opening, and he's going to show you how you can punish the Protoss opponent by doing it. Don't worry too much about the specific build order, as I'm going to post it in the comments below, and you can look over it and try it yourself and see if it suits your style. But right now I want to focus on a little bit about the concept of this build and why it could be better than a standard 14 gas 14 pool opening. Now one of the advantages of this build is that since you get your pool earlier, you get your queen earlier. And by getting your queen earlier, you're going to be able to get more larva. And using those early larva, we can make Zerglings to punish the Protoss opponents at a very specific time. Anyways, our Zerg player here puts down the 11 pool. He's going to go to 15 supplies, and once the pool is done, he's going to make a gas, 4 Zerglings, and a queen. The Zerglings are done. They're going to chase away the probe, and expansion on 18. Great, great, great. Now you're going to drone up to 21, get your Metabolic Boost. Anyways, I want to go over here a second. He did make 4 initial Zerglings for map control and scouting, but in this game, he is going to lose those 4 Zerglings accidentally because of the Stalker. So, technically, the Zerg player could have had 4 more Zerglings. Anyways, going back here, at 24 supplies, he makes 1 Overlord, and once the larva pops, you're going to make a whole bunch of Zerglings. And once the Zerglings are done, you're going to march them across the map and do some damage. Anyways, we're going to pause at the 6-minute mark and do a comparison. Looking at the income tab, the last replay had 29 harvesters, and here we have 25, so we're 4 behind. Not only that, we only have 1 queen, and the second queen just started. These are the disadvantages of this build. You have less drones, and you have less queen. But on the flip side, here you have 14 Zerglings, and if you control the initial 4 Zerglings correctly, you could have 18 Zerglings. Going here to the Protoss base at the 6-minute mark, look, the Protoss is just about to put down the expansion, like in the previous replay. And he has 4 units, just like the previous replay. So let's play and see what these 14 Zerglings can do. They're gonna go up, start picking at the nexus, and run up to the ramp and surround everything. The Protoss tries to force field, but he's gonna lose a sentry and a stalker in the process, and the Zealot in the front. This sentry here is getting very lucky, not getting surrounded, and it is going to survive. Zerglings come back out to pick at the nexus, comes back in and try and surround once again. Is he going to get the... No, he's not going to get the sentries. Okay, let's pause here. Now, he killed a Zealot, a sentry, and a stalker in that exchange. And he almost killed an additional sentry. I think if he had 18 Zerglings, this sentry would have been dead. We all know how important it is for a Zerg player to reduce the sentry count earlier in the game, because the more sentries a Protoss player has early in the game, their energy is going to build up, and there are going to be more force fields in the mid-game. So by killing 1 or 2 sentries here, you're really reducing the Protoss capability of pushing in the mid-game. And since they cost so much gas, it's going to slow down your opponent's tech a lot. Now, from my personal experience, I'm trying this on ladder. It is not uncommon for you to deny a nexus. If you run up to 18 Zerglings, right when the nexus comes down, it only has a little bit of HP, and if you surround it, you're going to force a cancel on your Protoss opponent. So the advantage of this build is that it allows you to get a bunch of Zerglings, run up the map, possibly deny a nexus, possibly kill a lot of units, and possibly contain your opponent long enough so that this nexus is delayed by 30 or a minute. This is the advantage of this build, and that is why the Team Liquid thread that I talked about earlier is kind of flawed. They only considered your own economy in that thread, and what they failed to consider is the capability of the builds. And as you can see, the 11 pool 18 hatch build is capable of producing Zerglings earlier using these extra larva and punishing the Protoss opponents by delaying his expansion and killing his sentries. And as Zerg players are becoming more and more aggressive these days, I think we really need to rethink the viability of this opening. And if you can really utilize these really thin timing windows and punish your opponent, you can get miles ahead. Imagine if you can come in here with 18 Zerglings, cancel a nexus, kill a few sentries, and then delay this nexus further by a minute. So even though you are behind on drones in the beginning, you're still so far ahead just because you have the capability of delaying your opponents. So here's a build you guys should really think about. Post your comments below, tell me what you think. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, alright? I hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys next time.